Sunlight streams into a cozy, cluttered kitchen, illuminating dust motes, dancing in the morning air. Ruby, a vibrant spirit with a leaf unfurling in her hair, meticulously wipes down the counters with graceful, fluid movements. Her brother Darius, disheveled and pragmatic, enters the kitchen with a yawn, his eyes drawn to a long chore list. The extensive list, penned in Mrs. Hartchild's neat hand, hangs pinned to the fridge, a daunting task for the morning. In the kitchen, Darius groans, his finger jabbing at a chore list, a look of utter dismay on his face. His finger lands on a dreaded line item: dust the dragon figurines, a mundane task in an extraordinary life. Ruby chuckles softly, a tiny, vibrant flower blossoming from her earlobe, then wilting into nothingness as quickly as it appeared. She gestures to the laminated chore list, a stark symbol of their surprisingly normal domestic existence. With a knowing smile, Ruby declares, "Looks like we have a full day, brother," her voice light with playful challenge. In a sunlit living room, Ruby meticulously dusts a collection of menacing dragon figurines, her movements precise and deliberate. Her fingers brush against a cold, sculpted scale, a fleeting touch of life amidst the inert figures. A tiny, almost imperceptible vine briefly extends from her fingertip, a silent, startling revelation. Her eyes widen, a flicker of concern crossing her face as she examines her hand, the vine now retracted. The dragon figurines, silent and foreboding, seem to watch her every move, their stone eyes full of unspoken secrets. Darius, a phantom in a cloud of flour, his hair and face dusted white, pores over an ancient cookbook. He mutters, "Seriously? A heaping teaspoon? What even is a heaping teaspoon?" Ruby enters, a secret smile playing on her lips as she observes his flour-dusted culinary struggle. With amusement, she teases, "Looks like you're having fun, chef." In the warm kitchen, Ruby takes the ancient cookbook from Darius, her fingers delicately tracing the faded script on its worn pages. Her eyes narrow, focusing on a smudged section of the recipe, almost illegible, a secret hidden in plain sight. As Ruby concentrates, the smudges on the page shimmer with an ethereal light. Beneath the faded text, faint, arcane symbols begin to emerge, glowing faintly. Darius leans in, his expression a mixture of intrigue and wonder as he peers over Ruby's shoulder. The mysterious symbols pulse, hinting at a magic yet to be fully revealed. In a cozy kitchen, Ruby meticulously deciphers the hidden text, her brow furrowed in concentration. Her eyes widen in shock as she realizes the true nature of the words. A powerful transformation spell. The spell is cleverly disguised, embedded within the innocent-looking banana cake ingredients. Darius leans closer, a mischievous glint dancing in his eyes, sensing the unfolding revelation. A playful smirk tugs at his lips as he utters, "A transformation spell in a banana cake recipe?" He pauses, his gaze locking with Ruby's, before adding, "That's unexpected." Ruby and Darius huddle in the kitchen, heads bent over an open cookbook, whispering conspiratorially in the dim light. On the counter, a banana cake shimmers with an unnatural glow, its aroma subtly off, hinting at unusual ingredients. The air around them crackles with an almost imperceptible energy, a silent hum of anticipation. They exchange a look, their faces a blend of eager anticipation and nervous apprehension, eyes wide with a shared secret. In the quiet kitchen, Darius cradles a small, desiccated cat toy, a poignant reminder of their beloved Cod. Ruby, her breath held, carefully places a tiny, shimmering piece of the magical cake onto the toy. Their eyes, wide with a fragile hope, fixate on the toy, every muscle tensed in anticipation. A heavy silence hangs in the air as the magical cake lies inert, nothing stirring. In the quiet kitchen, the cat toy, once still and lifeless, suddenly twitches with an eerie, unbidden movement. A faint, ethereal glow spills from the toy, painting the kitchen in an otherworldly light, a sign of the impossible. Ruby and Darius gasp, their faces frozen in disbelief, eyes wide with the sudden, shocking spectacle before them. The toy begins to subtly reanimate, a translucent, shimmering ghost of Cod's form taking shape around it. It is not a full resurrection, but a spectral awakening, a shimmering outline of the beloved cat. The ethereal form of Cod flickers, a ghostly echo of life, leaving Ruby and Darius breathless with awe and wonder. Mrs. Hartchild, impeccably dressed and beaming, bustles into the living room, a stack of flyers clutched in her hand. Ruby and Darius exchange a look of mild dread, their eyes conveying a shared, silent apprehension. Oblivious to their silent communication, Mrs. Hartchild beams, her face alight with enthusiastic anticipation. She presents her news with gusto. "Good news, darlings. I've signed us up for the community bake sale." Her smile widens, completely unaware of the looming culinary challenge she has just presented. The kitchen fills with the sweet scent of baked goods as Mrs. Hartchild beams, her hands gesturing emphatically. Mrs. Hartchild explains, "And that, children, is precisely why this bake sale is so vital." She continues, "It's not just about raising funds. It's about helping us to integrate into the fabric of our wonderful community." Ruby and Darius stand beside her, offering polite nods and forced, strained smiles. Unseen by Mrs. Hartchild, a spectral cod drifts silently past them, its ethereal form a bizarre contrast. Ruby asserts, "Absolutely, Mrs. Hartchild. So important." Darius echoes, "Couldn't agree more." In the kitchen, Ruby, radiating newfound confidence, stands before a bubbling cauldron. Her hands move with precise grace, meticulously measuring ingredients into the simmering brew. A soft, rhythmic chant escapes her lips, a powerful incantation focused on stabilizing cod's spectral form. Darius watches, a genuine fascination for magic now clearly visible in his attentive eyes. He offers occasional suggestions, his voice a low murmur, completely absorbed in the magical process. The air hums with anticipation as Ruby's spell weaves its intricate magic, her focus absolute. Under the bright sun, MRS, Hartchild, Ruby, and Darius stroll down a quaint suburban street, baskets overflowing. Mrs. Hartchild beams, her face aglow with charming anticipation, eyes sparkling with delight. Ruby shifts uncomfortably, a clear picture of discontent, her reluctance hanging heavy in the air. Darius, however, is lost in thought, his mind consumed by the lingering echoes of a powerful spell. A perfectly manicured lawn stretches before a house, an immaculate green carpet framed by bursting flower beds. Mrs. Henderson, prim and sharp-eyed, opens the door, her smile a tight, almost brittle line. Her gaze, filled with subtle disapproval, lingers on Ruby's slightly wild, untamed hair. Mrs. Hartchild extends a plate of cookies, an offering that seems to bridge an unspoken gap. The vibrant colors of the flowers stand in stark contrast to the tension in the air. In Mrs. Henderson's pristine living room, a palpable tension hangs in the air, thick with unspoken judgment. Her delicate hand gestures, her words like velvet-covered thorns, hint at veiled warnings about unruly elements. Ruby shifts in her chair, a flicker of discomfort crossing her face as Mrs. Henderson whispers of dragon fire. Beneath Ruby's sleeve, a small, vibrant green vine subtly coils and uncoils, a secret pulse of life unseen. An old, weathered house stands against the bright daylight, surrounded by an overgrown garden. Mr. Grumbles, with a long white beard and perpetually annoyed, emerges onto the porch as Mrs. Hartchild approaches, beaming. He grunts in response to her cheerful greeting, his eyes narrowing slightly. He takes a cookie, scrutinizing it like a suspicious device, searching for any hidden dangers. Sunlight streams onto Mr. Grumble's porch, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air, a stark contrast to his mood. Mr. Grumbles, hunched in a worn armchair, a perpetual frown etched on his face, mutters to himself. His gaze drifts towards Ruby, who stands a respectful distance away, her face a mask of polite apprehension. A prickle of unease washes over Ruby as his words hang heavy in the air. The good old days. Things aren't what they used to be. Mr. Grumble's voice lowers to a bitter murmur. Those blasted dragons, and the mess they left behind. Ruby shifts uncomfortably, the old man's words creating a palpable tension on the sunlit porch. Darius and Ruby stroll along a quiet suburban street, the ordinary houses a stark contrast to their whispered conversation. Darius leans in, his voice a conspiratorial whisper. "Did you catch that? Dragonfire? What is that about?" Ruby shrugs, a subtle shift in her demeanor as an ancient, faint energy hums around them, tingling her plant-like senses. The mundane neighborhood street now seems to vibrate with an unseen force, hinting at a hidden world beneath the surface. A flicker of intrigue crosses Ruby's face as the faint, ancient energy intensifies, drawing her deeper into the mystery. Ruby paces her small kitchen, a whirlwind of agitated energy amidst ancient texts and glowing laptop screens. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, a frantic search for dragonfire illuminating her determined face. The screen reveals fragmented accounts of ancient conflicts and the unsettling mention of plant kin. A spectral codcod materializes, its translucent form nudging Ruby's hand with playful, ethereal affection. Darius enters the kitchen, his eyes immediately drawn to Ruby, who is visibly distressed amidst scattered papers and books. His brow furrows with concern as he moves to her side, sensing the gravity of her unsettling discoveries. He picks up a document, his gaze scanning the ancient script, a profound realization dawning in his eyes. The dragon conflict is no mere tale, but a profound, unresolved historical event, its weight settling heavily upon him. In a dimly lit study, Mrs. Hartchild stands by the window, her back to the door, a small desk lamp casting long shadows. Her voice, usually vibrant, is a hushed, anxious whisper on the phone, a stark contrast to her confident posture. Ruby, passing by, pauses, catching fragments of the conversation, her brow furrowing with a prickle of unease. Mrs. Hartchild whispers, "Yes, Fighter is back, and he's talking about old debts." "I'm worried, truly worried." In a bustling kitchen, Mrs. Hartchild moves like a phantom, her hands a blur, arranging trays of banana bread and cookies. Ruby and Darius, lost in thought, assist with automatic, disengaged movements, their minds elsewhere. Their gazes drift, fixed on an unseen world of dragon conflict. A profound preoccupation with the elusive transformation spell consumes them. Their expressions betray a deep internal struggle, far removed from the morning's domesticity. The kitchen hums with a focused energy, yet their spirits remain distant, entangled in a looming magical war. The community hall pulses with life, a vibrant tapestry of chattering townsfolk, the air sweet with baked goods. Mrs. Hartchild, a vision of effortless charm, glides through the crowd, her laughter echoing, greeting everyone by name. Near the entrance, Ruby and Darius stand, their discomfort palpable amidst the festive buzz. Mrs. Henderson and Mr. Grumbles appear, their eyes darting suspiciously, a stark contrast to the joyful atmosphere. The wariness in Mrs. Henderson's gaze betrays an unspoken tension as she surveys the hall. Mr. Grumbles, equally wary, scans the crowd, a shadow of suspicion across his face. A charismatic man, Fighter, with an intense, watchful gaze, approaches the table. His smile widens as he praises Mrs. Hartchild's baking, especially the banana cake. Fighter's eyes linger on Ruby, an unsettling intensity in his gaze. A sudden chill washes over Ruby, a prickle of unease at his prolonged stare. The air thickens with unspoken tension as Fighter's interest in Ruby becomes unnervingly apparent. With a wide, disarming smile, Fighter extends a plate of cookies, a seemingly innocent offering. He declares, "A little something from my own kitchen," his voice smooth as silk, yet with an underlying current of mystery. Mrs. Hartchild, a picture of refined grace, accepts a cookie with a polite, almost regal nod. Ruby's eyes flicker, a primal instinct of caution stirring deep within her, a silent alarm ringing. Darius, ever the gentleman, takes a cookie, his actions driven by an ingrained sense of politeness. The scene hums with unspoken tension, the cookie's a catalyst for an unfolding drama. Mrs. Hartchild takes a bite of Fighter's cookie, a smile gracing her lips, unaware of the impending danger. Her eyes glaze over instantly, a vacant stare replacing their warmth as a chilling transformation begins. She sways precariously, a silent battle waged within her, before collapsing to the ground, unconscious. A collective gasp of horror ripples through the assembled crowd, their faces mirroring shock and disbelief. Ruby's face contorts in terror, her eyes wide with fear as she witnesses the sudden collapse. Ruby screams, her voice piercing the stunned silence. "Mom!" Darius, having taken a bite of the contaminated food, begins to feel a profound dizziness, his eyes wide with alarm. He fights against the encroaching sensation, his vision blurring, the world spinning around him. Fighter, a blur of motion, swiftly moves to grab the now unconscious Mrs. Hartchild, a silent, urgent rescue. Ruby, Sensing the imminent threat, her resolve hardening, prepares for battle. Powerful vines briefly lash out from Ruby, forming a sudden green defensive barrier, a living shield against danger. The air crackles with tension as the scene unfolds, a dance of danger and instinct. With surprising agility, Fighter effortlessly dodges Ruby's surging botanical attack, a blur of motion against the community hall. From his pocket, he produces a small, glowing amulet, its soft light pulsating with an otherworldly power. As the amulet glows brighter, Ruby's once vibrant vines recoil, withering into nothingness in a gasp of defeated magic. Fighter seizes Ruby, who struggles fiercely against his unyielding grip, defiance etched on her face. Fighter, a menacing figure, brutally drags MRS. Heartchild, her face a mask of terror, and the limp, shocked Ruby towards a waiting van. Darius, disoriented by drugs, lurches forward, his movements uncoordinated, desperate to intercept the kidnapper. His legs give way, and Darius stumbles to the ground, his futile attempt ending in a helpless collapse. The small crowd watches, stunned and frozen, in a mixture of disbelief and fear, too slow to intervene. Fighter shoves the two women into the van, slams the door shut with a final, chilling thud, and screeches away. A cloud of dust hangs heavy in the air, leaving behind a profound and stunned silence in the wake of the van's escape. Bound and gagged, Ruby and Mrs. Heartchild lie helpless in the van, the air thick with tension. Mrs. Heartchild remains still, her unconscious form a stark contrast to Ruby's frantic struggles. Ruby's eyes blaze with a furious mix of anger and fear, her muffled cries echoing her desperate fight. She strains against her restraints, a raw surge of power attempting to break free. But Fighter's amulet pulses, a dark magic dampening her every effort, rendering her powers useless. Frustration twists Ruby's face as she realizes the futility of her struggles, trapped and vulnerable. In the dimly lit hideout, ancient maps and strange artifacts are crammed around scientific equipment, creating a makeshift laboratory. I secure Ruby to a chair, her eyes wide with fear, as the chilling silence of the hideout presses in. Then, Mrs. Heartchild is bound, her frail form stirring as consciousness slowly returns. Her eyes flutter open, revealing a glimmer of confusion and terror as she takes in her surroundings. In the cramped hideout, Fighter paces, his brow deeply furrowed, a pulsating vein visible on his temple. His gaze, sharp and unwavering, locks onto Ruby, a silent challenge in his eyes. Ruby stands firm, her posture radiating an unwavering defiance that meets his intense stare. Fighter's voice cuts through the tension. "I know what you are, Plantkin, and I know about the dragons." He takes a step closer, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper, demanding answers. His piercing eyes bore into Ruby as he presses. "Tell me about the past conflict. What was your part in it?" In the Fighter's hideout, Mrs. Heartchild awakens, her senses still clouded by grogginess. Her eyes, heavy with recognition and dismay, fixate on Fighter, trying to grasp the unfolding reality. Fighter remains oblivious, his entire being consumed by the presence of Ruby, his gaze unwavering. Mrs. Heartchild's voice, laced with a plea of confusion and sorrow, barely escapes her lips. "Fighter, why?" The unspoken question hangs heavy in the air, a chasm of misunderstanding separating them. In the Fighter's hideout, a detailed map unfurls across a rough wooden table, hinting at forgotten battles. Fighter's finger traces vast swathes of land, marked with symbols of Dragon's fiery wrath. He points to a specific, isolated location, his gaze fixed on Ruby, a silent challenge in his eyes. Ruby's previously distant eyes snap wide, recognition dawning like a harsh, unwelcome light. A flicker of fragmented memory registers on her face, a ghost of something she's seen before. Fighter's voice cuts through the tension. "Do you recognize this place?" In the Fighter's hideout, the air crackles with unspoken tension as Fighter leans forward, his gaze burning with intensity. He gestures vaguely, hinting at unseen forces and unnatural imbalances that plague the world. His calm voice, heavy with conviction, declares, "Ruby, she holds the key." Fighter reveals the ancient prophecies and their profound implications for their time. He unfurls ancient drawings onto a dusty table, brittle parchment revealing faded ink and secrets. Intricate plant-like beings, leafy forms entwined with dragons, emerge from the aged paper, Some depictions show peaceful coexistence, while others are fraught with the conflict of dragons and plant beings. His intense gaze locks with Ruby's, gesturing at the drawings as a profound truth is revealed. Your lineage, Ruby, is tied directly to the origins of this conflict, he states with a grave tone. In the fighter's hideout, Ruby's eyes fixate on drawings, triggering a sudden, vivid flashback. Her mind is swept away to a lush, ancient forest, glowing plants illuminating the verdant canopy. A colossal dragon silhouette dominates the horizon, its immense form casting a shadow over the magical landscape. Ruby gasps, a wave of forgotten memories washing over her, overwhelming her senses with their intensity. Her expression contorts with the struggle to process these powerful, re-emerging visions. In the fighter's hideout, a menacing intensity fills the air as Fighter leans in, her eyes burning into the woman before her. Her voice drops to a dangerous whisper, "Tell me what you know." Fighter's gaze sharpens, demanding answers. "Your family was involved, wasn't it?" Mrs. Hartchild steps forward, a tentative hand reaching out as if to intervene, but Fighter's head snaps up, her glare a sudden, fierce warning that silences Mrs. Hartchild instantly. The unspoken threat hangs heavy, a chilling testament to Fighter's absolute control. In the fighter's hideout, Ruby clutches her head, overwhelmed by a torrent of fragmented memories. Her skin begins to shift, plant-like features emerging with an eerie organic grace. Tendrils subtly weave through her hair, her transformation accelerating, a silent, unsettling spectacle. A small, luminous flower unfurls in her hair, its glow pulsing with a delicate, otherworldly light. Just as quickly, the glowing bloom retracts, vanishing as if consumed by her very essence, leaving a haunting absence. In the dim, tense hideout, Fighter's face is a mask of cold frustration as he begins to meticulously set up a device. Its metallic components gleam ominously under the sparse light, hinting at its sinister purpose. Mrs. Hartchild, her eyes wide with terror, lets out a choked cry of protest, her fear palpable. Fighter's voice cuts through the air, chillingly declaring, "This will extract the information from her memories." Ruby's eyes, fixed on the device, burn with a fierce defiance, a silent battle waged against her captor. She strains, her plant powers struggling to surface beneath the crushing weight of the oppressive amulet. Unseen by Fighter, a tiny vibrant green sprout defiantly pushes through the floorboards at Ruby's feet. A hidden flicker of hope, small yet potent, emerges from the very ground beneath her. Darius, reeling from the drug's effects, frantically scans the community hall for help, his eyes wide with desperation. Community members mill about in shock, their faces etched with disbelief, some on phones, others trying to grasp the chaos. His gaze darts from face to face, a silent plea for assistance in the disoriented crowd. A desperate urgency propels Darius forward, his senses overwhelmed by the unfolding pandemonium. Darius stands outside the community hall, his mind consumed by the spectral Codcod, a creature of legend. He closes his eyes, a deep furrow in his brow, attempting to pierce the veil between worlds. He strains, his senses reaching out, desperately seeking the Codcod's ethereal presence to guide him. A flicker of hope ignites in his eyes as he feels a faint, almost imperceptible shift in the air. Before him, a shimmering begins to coalesce, a ghostly outline forming from nothingness. The air itself seems to hum, revealing the spectral form, a silent promise of guidance. Against the moonlit woods, Darius moves like a shadow, his urgency silent and swift. The ethereal Codcod, a shimmering spectral cat, glides beside him, its eyes glowing faintly. They reach a clearing where a beat-up van sits, its windows dark and menacing. Muffled thumps and grunts emanate from within the van, a chilling sound in the night. Darius's jaw tightens, his resolve hardening as he knows he must act quickly. In the fighter's hideout, a small sprout, born from Ruby's foot, begins its silent, ominous growth. It quickly thickens into a thorny vine, snaking stealthily across the floor, unseen by the engrossed fighter. Fighter, back turned, remains oblivious, meticulously adjusting his device, unaware of the approaching botanical threat. The thorny tendrils creep closer and closer, a silent, living danger about to ensnare its unsuspecting prey. Darius bursts through the door of the hideout, his voice a thunderous echo, instantly seizing Fighter's attention. Fighter spins around, startled, his eyes wide with a mix of surprise and alarm at the sudden intrusion. Despite his apparent weakness, Darius lunges forward, a desperate diversion, his movements sharp and unexpected. In a blur, the spectral Cod darts past Fighter, a fleeting, ghostly distraction amidst the chaos. In the chaotic hideout, Ruby seizes her desperate chance as a thick vine snakes into action. The powerful vine, now robust and strong, lashes out, ensnaring Fighter's arm with surprising force. Fighter is violently yanked away from the pulsing device, his momentum broken by the living tendril. Ruby struggles against her bonds, her eyes burning with resolve and locked on a single target. Her intense gaze fixates on the glinting amulet around Fighter's neck, a beacon of her desperate hope. Darius and Fighter grapple intensely, locked in a desperate struggle, the weapon in Fighter's hand a deadly glint. With a strained grunt, Darius fights to disarm him, muscles bulging with effort. A glimmering amulet slips from Fighter's neck, clattering to the concrete floor with a sharp, metallic ring. The moment it hits, Ruby's plant powers surge with an otherworldly force, the air crackling with energy. Thick, emerald vines explode from the floorboards, snaking up the grimy walls, engulfing the hideout in a verdant, suffocating embrace. Ruby, now free, extends her hands, and thorny vines erupt from the ground, twisting into an impenetrable barrier. Fighter struggles, trapped within the botanical prison, his efforts futile against the unyielding growth. Ruby swiftly unties Mrs. Heartchild, who blinks in a daze, unharmed by the sudden chaos. Darius stands panting, his eyes wide with shock at the chaotic, sudden growth of plants engulfing the hideout. The air crackles with newfound power and the scent of earth as the hideout transforms into a living cage. Ruby, her face a canvas of relief and disbelief, retrieves the amulet, its power now hers. Her grip tightens, and the ancient artifact crumbles into dust, leaving only echoes of its former magic. Her gaze shifts from the still ensnared Fighter to Mrs. Heartchild and Darius, their faces a mix of awe and apprehension. The immediate threat has dissipated, but unsettling truths about dragons and her mysterious past begin to surface. A spectral cod, translucent and graceful, purrs softly against Ruby's leg, a silent comfort amidst the burgeoning chaos.